Hello, welcome back to the Football Terrace. Thank you very much for tuning in. Manchester City 3, Arsenal 0. We're going to be jumping into some live fan cams here in a moment, but I want to give you my overarching thoughts on that game. Arteta, no plan, no style. A calamity decision to even have David Luiz on the bench. He brings him on after an unfortunate injury to Mari. By the way, who started off awfully himself by giving away a free kick inside 2 minutes. David Luiz comes on and proves to us again why he's called Sideshow Bob. It isn't even the hair. It's his clown-like mentality. Arsenal get off to an awful start to the return of the season. And I know Gooners are going to not so much play it down, because Gooners aren't. I know a lot of Gooners that are not like that. I know a lot of Gooners that are fair people that will understand that their team has been poor tonight. But it was absolutely abysmal. It truly was from Arsenal Football Club. There was nothing good. There was nothing good at all about that performance. No shots on target. Didn't test the goalkeeper. By the way, they only had 2 shots in total, and that was in the first 25 minutes. Nothing after that point. No creativity. Martinelli didn't come on. No Pepe whatsoever. No style, no substance to this team. Man City did it at an absolute canter. We're going to jump into some of these fan cams now. Adam Charles is going to be first on. Can't wait to see what he has got to say. Adam, mate, awful performance. Nothing shown from Arsenal tonight. What's your reaction to that display?
Ooh, Terry. Where do we begin? I think it's funny. I had a bit of a discussion with someone the other day who told me that David Luiz, the signing was a good. They told me that £8 million was a bargain for a player like David Luiz, because he brings a winning mentality. He's won the Premier League before. And he can play out from the back. And I think we've seen today just how farcical, just how stupid such a comment could be. I think you're absolutely right. There was no plan. There was nothing tonight. I couldn't really tell you how Arteta planned to play. I couldn't tell you what identity Arsenal had. I've been reading all these things about how Arteta's been drilling them with the style of play, the identity, the culture that he wants to bring into Arsenal. Where was that today? Please, somebody tell me. Someone let me know. Aubameyang, that guy doesn't want to be here anymore. He's off. I saw him not running. I saw him lifeless in the middle of the pitch. Please, don't even get me started on flipping Lacazette either. The whole thing is just a joke, really. And it as if we didn't know it already, it just goes to show how badly investment and new players are needed at Arsenal, because we are far off the pace.
Mate, do you know what? You started the game off, and I thought the opening sort of 10, 15 minutes, you had the same amount of possession. You thought, okay, well, Arteta's trying to create this possession-based football. But then as the game goes on, you see Kevin De Bruyne coming into the game. He's finding space. He created 2 or 3 chances. Sterling cuts in, has an opportunity. You're being peppered. And what I noticed more than that is Guendouzi was getting the ball in the middle when you were winning the ball back. Time and time again, he lost possession. You didn't counter-attack in numbers. You weren't able to hold on to the ball. Can you see, other than the good shape at times when you were out of possession, what has Arteta brought to you in 6 months? What is the difference between now and under Unai Emery? And can you see a future for him?
Bro, I don't know. I think I'm not quite sure. So I look at what we were doing before lockdown, the fact that Saka was at left back, and he was basically playing as a winger, and I think Tierney's introduction kind of upset the whole balance of the team, because Tierney can't do the same things that Saka does in the final third of the pitch. So I don't know. I think it upset the whole balance. Mari, considering like it was his first game, I think it was too early to introduce him as well. So Terry, I can't tell you. I can't tell you what shape there was or what patterns of play there were to Arsenal's team right now, or to Arsenal's play right now. I just think I don't know. I'm lost for words, Terry. Genuinely, I'm lost for words. I can't tell you what was supposed to be done, what we were really trying to get into, and he better figure it out fast, because if not, he will have mutiny on his hands. I promise you. And the thing is, he's not He's not a legend. If it was Vieira, if it was Henry, even if it was Ljungberg, I think he'd get more time. People would be more understanding. People would be willing to say, okay, you know what? Let's get behind him. He hasn't had investment. This is Arteta. And so much has been made about him coming from Pep, him being able to coach players, him being able to get into these guys. And if we don't see results quickly, people will be onto him. Last week when I did the recording with flipping Claude and Lee Gunner, they were already saying that they don't even understand why he was appointed. They were already at their wits' end. So if people, influential people like them two, are already sick and tired of Arteta, then what the hell makes you think the average man on the street is going to give him more time? This guy, he better sort it out, because we've got a tough run of games. We've got Brighton, then we've got Norwich, cool, which, as Arsenal are concerned, that's not even winnable games right now. But then we got flipping Tottenham. We've got to play Liverpool. I'm sure we've got to play flipping Everton as well, I'm sure. Like, we've got tough games. Yeah. So he needs to sort it. Otherwise, boy, it's looking trouble. So long for us, Terry. So long.
Adam, mate, listen, thank you for coming on, having your say. Really, really do appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
No problem.
Take care, mate. Bye-bye. Ray, welcome, Man City fan. Ray, you must be so delighted with that victory. Easy victory for yourselves.
Easy peasy. I mean, I think the first half an hour, it was more even Stevens. I don't think City were. You could tell they weren't fit enough. Some of the players, they've only trained for 3 weeks, but after that, once we started passing and moving, Arsenal just opened up, and it was like, just guys, come and score as many as you want. And you know, if we'd been ruthless, we'd have absolutely battered them tonight. You know, it's another one of those games where Arsenal get off lightly after playing poorly and City playing well. 3-0 is, I think, is a very generous result to them. It should have been 6.
It should have been. Without Leno in goal, who pulled off 3 or 4 brilliant saves, you would have battered tonight. Did you expect it to be that easy, though? I mean, they had no shots on target. They didn't create a chance after the 25th minute. Did you expect it to be that easy? You know, Arteta, a lot of Arsenal fans have been gassing him up, talking about how, you know, he's going to turn it around. A lot of gooners come on my channel and said it's like The Apprentice versus the teacher. Arteta's going to school him. Did you have any fears at all?
No, look, Arsenal, the players aren't good enough. There's no question about that. The players aren't good enough. I talked to loads of Arsenal fans this week and done lots of previews with them. And I just think they might not want to hear it, but they've got to give him some time to twist things around a bit. If you look at Pep's first season at City, it was, honestly, it was bang. It ended up being bang average. We were scraping 4th or 3rd or whatever at the end of the season. And then the second season, it was like bang, you know, 100 points. Next season, bang, domestic treble. And I'm not saying Arteta's going to do that, but I think you've got to give him a transfer window, give him a proper pre-season to look at the players and get some steel in there. They do need a bit of steel. You could see at 2-0, they were. I think it was unfortunate red card. I think it was a bit unlucky. The penalty was and a yellow card. It would have done for me, for Luis. But then the heads dropped, and it was City were just walking around, passing it around. There was no one really saying, right, you know, we really got to keep fighting. They'd given up.
No, mate, I get that totally. I want to ask you a question, though, about the wider points. I felt for a few weeks now that City, the league games are much of a muchness. You're going to make top 4, you can't win the league. I want to ask, if you go on to win the Champions League and the FA Cup, which you're more than capable of doing, is that a better season than Liverpool winning just the title?
Obviously, we're going to say so. You know, if we win the Carabao Cup, we're going to say it's a better season than Liverpool. But you know, whatever we win, but seriously, if we win the Champions League, even if we don't win the FA Cup, we'll turn around and say it's a better season. We've got 2 trophies out of the 4 that we're going for, and Champions League is a biggie. You know, even though we don't big it up that much, but it is a bigger. So I'd say yes, it's a. But the fans. they'll be. I mean, it's going to sound daft, but we'll be tinged with disappointment that we didn't muster up a better fight in that Premier League. You know.
Yeah, I understand that, mate. But listen, well done for your performance tonight. We're back to winning ways. Embarrassed Arsenal, which makes most football fans happy in that regard. Ray, appreciate you coming on, mate. Chat to you again.
No worries, mate. Take it easy.
Take care.
Thanks.
Simon, welcome to the Football Terrace. You just seen Arsenal get beat 3-0. What's your thoughts on Arteta's tactics and your team's performance tonight?
Well, I've done all the same for it now. I still thought it was 2-0, me. I stopped watching when it looked like a scene at a Texas Chainsaw Massacre with player. I hope it's not like. I didn't know who it was. Garcia or whatever his name is. Didn't see who it was that robbed Flower.
Rodri, I think, yes.
Rodri.
Yeah. From your point of view, though, what went wrong for Arsenal tonight?
Midfield. What can you expect with Arsenal? Midfield's mediocre. I've been saying it from day one. You play a midfield of Granit Xhaka, Guendouzi and Ceballos. You've got no creativity. You've got no strength. You've got Guendouzi running with the ball like an headless chicken. Soon as he got the ball, 4 straight round him. What does he do? Turn round, pulls it back. He put Kieran Tierney in awkward situations as well. And then when Mari went off, I was like, oh, great, that's 2 injuries, brilliant. We're back. And then David Luiz comes on. Look at David Luiz when he comes on. He's pissed off he's coming on the pitch. He's actually pissed off he's coming on the pitch, if you watch him. And with Arteta, you saw my video. You saw what I said. He sat next to Pep Guardiola and just jerked him off for 3 years. What's he learned? I'm actually happy with Arteta, to be honest. Because if he gets the right players, Arteta, I see what Arteta's trying to do with Arsenal. The problem with Arsenal is that we have an owner in Stan Kroenke who's not going to invest because we are self-sufficient. He bought Arsenal because he didn't have to put his own money into the club, and this is what Arsenal do. Now they've got rid of AGMs and all that. He doesn't have to address to the fans anymore, which is a bad thing if you think about it.
On that though, Simon, in the last 5 seasons, you only spent £30 million less than Liverpool.
Oh, we spent money. Don't get me wrong. We've spent money, but we've spent it so poorly. But what do you expect when you've got Arsene Wenger, who hasn't got a clue what he's doing anymore? You bring in Unai Emery, who had to get 1 win out of those 7 games and couldn't do it. But then we go to Valencia and we turn them over. I'm not saying we could have done that against Leicester, but I'm pretty sure we could have done that against Everton at Goodison. It's a joke. But when you have Granit Xhaka, who's not good enough, Guendouzi, I've got no problem with. He's a young kid. He's got to learn. I see a glimpse with him. You've got Aubameyang and you've got Lacazette, who cannot play together when you think Pepe's on the wing. It's so unbalanced. It's unreal. But the thing with Arteta, when you came to the Emirates, and you didn't have Bruno Fernandes in the midfield because you'd not signed him yet, I don't think, but you came to the Emirates, Arteta schooled Ollie. Ollie had no tactics whatsoever. His substitutions were wrong. He had no idea what he's doing. That's why, as a rival fan, my mate was a Man United fan, says, you're worried about us, aren't you? I goes, for top 4, yeah, but not for a title, because we're not going to challenge, not in the next 5 years anywhere near. But I don't think Man United are, because what's going to hold you back is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You need a better manager than Ollie, in my opinion, but that's it. That's just what I'm going to say. But with Arteta, you give Arteta 200 million to spend. He knows what player he wants. He'll try and get that player to come to us, and he'll fix basically the mentality in this team. There's too many whingy bottlers on that pitch that Wenger had to deal with, that Freddie had to deal with, and that Arteta now has got to deal with. Once he gets rid of the players that Wenger had and he brings in his own, you will see a difference with Arsenal. It's like Man United's team now. You could have a team up there with Liverpool and City, and you have, but what is holding you back, in my opinion, is just your manager. That's all. That's not a Ollie. I'm just saying the badge is too heavy for Ollie as a manager.
Do you know what, Simon? Thank you very much for coming on, having your say. Really good points made there. Everyone hit the like button, hit the share button, and we'll chat to you again, mate. Take care.
Right.
Sonny, how you doing, mate?
Hey, do you know what? I'm so glad you didn't come to me first. You know that.
Why have you had time to fall down?
Yeah, but I'll say something. At the moment, I can feel the blood running up my arms, down my heart. My heart's still beating fast. And it's not because I think some great football. It's because Arsenal just done it to me again. They just done it to me again. You know what? I just want to say, Man City, the next time they play Arsenal, they should change what's on the back of their t-shirt, even though it's great calls. They should write on the back of their t-shirts, Arsenal don't matter. Because have we ever gave them a game? We've never gave Man City a game. It's like going up against a team with a rocket launcher and we've got water pistols. You know, it's shambolic, absolutely shambolic.
Who do you hold accountable for today, though? Because you're in this situation where you got the manager in, everybody's raving about him. He's going to do X, he's going to do Y, he's going to do Z. Pepe doesn't come on. Martinelli doesn't come on. He brings on. I know you don't have any great centre backs, but he brings on David Luiz, who is an absolute clown. It feels like your manager made so many mistakes today.
I don't think he did, to be honest with you. I'm not going to gain on Arteta. I'm sorry, but I'm not. I think that's an easy excuse. The thing is, Arteta needs time and he needs players, and he hasn't got that. I think. Would I pick that team to play? No, I wouldn't have. But I'm not party to his team selection and their fitness. But obviously, he had a game plan, and the game plan was to put on the kids who got fresher legs, who could actually stifle Man City. And it was working for half an hour because we never had any intentions of winning the game. Let's face it, we went there for a draw, and the tactic that we didn't just use this game. We've used on many games this season. Is that one long ball because they've got no defence, so they've got no midfield. So they have to bypass the midfield and hope they're going to hit one long ball between the two centre backs. And get him for a fluky goal. And Edison has showed any Arsenal player how to hit a long ball, how to hit a long ball pass. Because I'll tell you something, if he was playing in our defence or our midfield, he'd be our best player, and he's Man City's goalie. Yeah,
no, I hear that, mate. I'm not even trying to be overly disrespectful to Arteta. I just felt he made a mistake today, but he does need time. And I know a lot of gooners have said that, and I stand by. He needs time.
It's the easy way out, Till. It's the easy way out. To blame Arteta is the easy way out. To blame David Luiz is the easy way out as well. At the end of the,
what do you blame then? Who is accountable?
The club is rotten to the core, Terry. The club is rotten to the core. And the thing is, when you're used to losing and when you're used to being brushed aside, you go out onto a field or you go out and you go out onto wherever your workplace is or environment. It's a bit like if ask 50 girls in a club if you want to dance and 50 of them say no. When you come to the 51st one, you go and find the ugly one and you want to dance with her. And she used to say no as well because you ain't asking with any confidence at all. This team are void of any confidence. And I'll tell you something, get rid of Aubameyang now. Get rid of him now. Well, we can't get rid of him now, but get rid of him as soon as the summer's transfer window's open and start building the spine. Start building the spine of the team because Arsenal have not got no spine. They're not, they're practically walking vertical, Arsenal, or horizontal, or whatever it is, because there's no spine in the team at all. Other than Leno, Pablo Mari. If you think he's the answer to Arsenal's defensive frailties, think again. The guy he runs in slow motion, he runs in quicksand, and is not your answer. They're going to be relying on a young French guy of 19 to solve Arsenal's defensive problems. Are you seriously having a laugh? You're going to rely on Saliba, who's never had a Premier League game before, 19 years old, to solve Arsenal's defensive issues. Think again, Arsenal fans. Wake up. I was going to say a saying of somebody else there, but I'm not going to. Is to say smell a hot drink, but I'm not going to say that. But again, Arsenal's midfield. Mesut Ozil, where was you? Where was you, Mesut Ozil? With your £350,000 a week, where was you? Because get out of our club, please. You're absolutely 100% pissing me off now. Get out of our club, please. I don't care what you do for humanity. Go and do it somewhere else, and go and do it for somebody else, right? Ceballos is not Arsenal level. If you want to play a game, you might as well play over 50s walking football. It's too slow. Guendouzi, cartoon character, as I said before, dwells on the ball for too long, right? Get him out. If you could get Guendouzi, you'd probably get a few quid for him now. Sell him while his price is high. Martinelli, what has Martinelli done wrong? Nicolas Pepe, if he's not fit enough, right, to play in an Arsenal side now, and his training's all wrong or whatever, right, because that was his problem when Unai Emery was there, right, get rid of him. Take your losses, get rid of him as well. Because at the end of the day, I said something, as much as I criticised Emery before him, before Arteta, Emery had a clear selection of players that he wanted who would have improved Arsenal overnight, and they didn't back the guy. Even though he was a terrible manager, he couldn't speak English, he couldn't get his point across, he didn't have no respect from the players or the fans. But at the end of the day, he had a vision of which Arsenal players he wanted to play, and those players, if he brought them in, they would have improved Arsenal. Arsenal at the moment, you're dead food. You're dead food, and you're going nowhere.
There we go, Sonny. Listen, thank you for coming on, having your say, mate. Appreciate everything and respect everything that you said. We'll speak to you again soon, mate. Take care.
Thanks, Steve. Bye.
Sam, welcome back to the channel. Look, I don't even mean to. I'm not even trying to take the piss. Is that
I don't even mind if you take the piss at this point.
I feel sorry for Arsenal. I should be bantering you, but I look at it and it's like, I don't. You know, you see a bird and it's like broke its wing and it can't fly.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like when I watch Arsenal at the moment. I don't even want to take the mick. Did you expect that performance tonight? And where do you think it went wrong?
Do you know what? Today, I genuinely thought that we could give Man City a game. And we started off playing decently. Like, I was actually, like, Saka was really, like, doing his thing. But then, obviously, Gondozi, he hangs on the ball for too long. And then David Luiz, get this man off my team. Get this man off my team. I don't know how long I've been screaming this for, but he needs to get gone.
I can't even. I mean, I've got a selection here of some pictures. Right? I look at this guy, and I just think, I look at him. I look at the mistake this guy makes, and I just think to myself, how
he fed the ball to Sterling. You know, he actually fed him the ball.
It's crazy. I don't understand it. He's one of those players. You know, when he plays well, he's amazing.
He's amazing.
He has that hiccup every game in him, and it's sometimes you just don't concede from it, and today you did. In terms of Arteta, I've seen a lot of negativity towards him on social media. Do you think he should shoulder any of the blame, or is it a case of you've just got to give the geezer 18 months, 2 years before anyone starts judging him?
Do you know what? I agree in the fact that we do still need to give him time. And at the moment, he's not working with a team that has structure at the moment. Like, our team is wayward, and a majority of that team needs to go, and he needs to spend money building this team up again, because Ozil, where was he? He wasn't injured, but where was he? 72 million on Pepe. He was on the bench. Why was he not on? Martinelli, where was he? So many questions I had looking at the starting 11. I was angry from the get-go. And the hopes that I had, like, okay, we're going to give them a match, it was gone. Aubameyang was playing on the wing, doing what on the wing? I thought he disappeared at one point. He wasn't even there. And honestly, the game, it just upset me. And it got to the point where you can just tell the players, they're rusty, they're not alert as they should be. Yeah. And obviously, we're playing Man City. They are. And I would have thought that Arteta would have took some tricks at least, or some sort of tips playing for Man City and used them. But obviously,
no. It's so weird. I couldn't understand. Look, there's a golfing class in players. But the two decisions that confuse me, you've got Aubameyang, who is one of the very best central strikers in the world. He's world class. He's playing on the wide left. You've got Saka, who I always thought was a left back, but plays on the left, who started on the right.
Yeah, so exactly.
So for me, it's like, well, you play Aubameyang in the middle, Saka on the left, and Pep. I can't get it.
Exactly. You see? And no one's getting it.
It made no sense to me. I'm sitting there thinking, maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm not understanding what he's trying to do here. Where do you think you're going to finish this season? Because you've got 2 or 3 winnable games, and then that run you have after, I think you've got 2 or 3 games where it's winnable. Brighton away. I want to say Southampton, Sheffield United. Then you play Norwich, Wolves, Leicester, Tottenham, Liverpool.
Yeah.
And you make the top 4 now.
Do you know what? I'm not going to put my hopes up, because after, you know what it is? Like, we already know how our run with Man City goes. Like, in the last, I think, 5 years, it's been like 20 goals to Man City, 2 to us. So we already know how that game was going to go. Yeah. But the next couple of games that are coming, in terms of like Brighton, Southampton, we could we could do something. But in terms of like Norwich, like they could spin us. Tottenham could spin us. Liverpool definitely, like they'll sit on our faces.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
I've never heard that analogy on here. There we go. Jeez. Cool.
Like, I can't lie to you. Today, like, yeah, that game really like kind of shattered me. But I think our top 4 hopes have definitely been crushed, and it's hard to say. It's actually hard to say we'll finish because the point gap between 5th and 9th is like it can switch, like it can turn around. Anything can happen in there.
It can. You need a good run now. You absolutely do. Listen, I appreciate you coming on. Do us a favor, everyone tuning in. Check out Gold Diggers. That's where you can find Sam and all of her queens over there. Hit the like button right now, though. There's like nearly 1,300 people tuning in. Hit that like button, please. It'd be great. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Tom, welcome back to the Football Terrace, mate. Disappointing night for yourselves. What, in your opinion, what went wrong tonight on the field? Selection, management, players? What was wrong?
I just think there's 2 words to describe what was wrong, and I think that was David Luiz. I don't think you can get much past the Brazilian in terms of that game. When you look at the lineup, I just think that there wasn't too much you can blame on Arteta. I want to put that out there first. You're going into a game against Manchester City. We're Arsenal. We're in a position right now as a club where we're just not competitive with these teams whatsoever. If you're a betting man, you're never going to bet on Arsenal to go to Manchester City and win a game. Our last 25 away games at top 6 teams, we've lost 15, I think, and drawn 10 of those, or it's the other way around. It's a horrific record away. And when you look at the instances that lead to those losses, it's big mistakes, like we saw against Chelsea with David Luiz, like we saw against Liverpool with David Luiz, and again against Manchester City with David Luiz. There is a correlation here, supposedly vying for a new 1-year deal. If that happens, that is such a detrimental look to Arsenal Football Club that you would continue to employ someone that has such a detrimental effect on your team in massive away games.
I couldn't. The David Luiz thing, where I blame Arteta is the fact that he put him on the bench, and I don't know. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. There are other defenders you have in your squad that could have played, who they may not be as good as him at his peak when he's playing well, but they don't have the same level of mistakes in it. And it wasn't. It's just the mind as well. The red card, it wound me up more than the mistake, because the mistake was accidental. But yeah, Mahrez is going through on goal. He might score. But you getting sent off does what? That makes it even harder. Like, it's just stupidity the whole time. In terms of the selection, we were talking to Sam on the previous call. Pepe not starting, Saka not on the left, on the right, and Aubameyang not placed centrally on the left. Can you find any rationale in that? What do you think the reason was for Arteta doing that?
I think he wanted pace in the wide areas. You get that with Saka and Aubameyang. Where I will criticise Arteta is I think that, as you say, you put them on the wrong side. It's really strange to put inverted wingers when playing counter-attack, because arguably what you want to do when you're playing counter-attack in football is have as much pace as possible, quick free-flowing passing. And what you do when you put inverted wingers is you slow the game down, because when a player who's left-footed is on the right-hand side, he has to stop. Because he has to stop, cut back, and then play the ball in, or has to try and take players on. If you play a right-footed player on the right-hand side, left-footed player on the left-hand side, you can swing across into your striker much, much simpler. And I think that was a mistake on Arteta's part completely. The lineup was weird because he's gone with Nketiah. He hasn't gone with Pepe, as you mentioned. I think there was a lot of sort of earnest on there being the Brighton game at the weekend as a much, much more winnable game than this one. I think Pepe has shown physically, fitness-wise, he's not the best in that area in terms of like athletic and fitness. And so therefore playing one game a week for him in an Arsenal shirt right now is what we can expect. And if you're going to put him in a game against Man City, you're not going to get the best from him. If you put him in a game against Brighton, I think you're going to see a lot more. And for a £72 million signing, should I be saying that about someone like that? But unfortunately, I think that is the reality of the player right now, is that you're more likely to get more out of Pepe against a Brighton than you are a Manchester City. And I think that's why Arteta's gone down that route of selection. But I do think he got the inverted wingers completely wrong in this game.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And it didn't make any sense. But like you say, maybe he looked at tonight as an experiment. Maybe he thought, in his heart of hearts, he may not say this to his players, but with the likelihood of you beating City away from home was very, very slim. So you go into this next round of games in the same position as you are now. It would have been a bonus to pick up a point. It really does depend. It just depends. You know what? It's these next 3 games. When I look at Arsenal, I look at the Brighton, Southampton game and Sheffield United and maybe Norwich. You've got these next 4 games where you think if you've got any chance of top 4 or even Europe next year. I don't even know if you really want Europe. You've got to pick up 10 of your next 12 points, because that run against Wolves, Leicester, and Arsenal, that next 4 after that are all very losable. So it's going to be real interesting. Where do you think you'll finish this season, based on tonight's performance and everything you hear going on at the club?
It's so difficult. I think if you're going to put money on it, I think we're going to finish in the last Europa League spot if we're lucky. Top 4 is a pipe dream, isn't it? It's an absolute pipe dream for Arsenal at the end of this season with the fitness issues now. We've gone into a game and we've lost 2 players within 25 minutes or so. That shows the preparation. Clearly, there was either something wrong or we're just unlucky, because having only 3 substitutes effectively against Man City, who'll have 5, is an absolute nightmare. But for the rest of the season, you're now looking at a situation where our fittest defensive-minded midfielders were Guendouzi and Dani Ceballos. Now, even going up against teams that you would consider, and no disrespect to them, but more winnable ties, like Brighton, for instance, even having Guendouzi and Dani Ceballos as your most defensive-minded midfielders puts you in such a vulnerable situation. Yeah. Other teams across the top 6 just have so much more depth in such a key area. You look at Manchester City today, they've got Rodri, they've got Fernandinho, they've got players that can play that role. Gundogan can play a more deeper role. Even Kevin De Bruyne is deployed in a more deeper role because he's so good that he can do that. But Arsenal just desperately lack depth, and that's why we won't achieve what we want to with top 4, arguably into the next couple of seasons, because the depth and the quality within Arsenal's squad is so lacking that we just cannot compete over a whole season.
Mate, I hear that completely. Listen, Tom, let everyone know where they can find you on your channel, mate.
Yeah, at the Gooner Talk TV, throwing loads of content over there, so enjoy.
Yeah, go check that out. Great stuff. Wonderful words there, Tom. Thanks, mate. Speak to you again.
Cheers,
Top
Derek.
Man. Thank you. Listen, everyone who's tuning in, we've got a couple more calls we're going to do. Do me a big favor, first of all, though. Hit that like button. There's 1,500 people tuning in. We're sitting on 237 likes. Let's get this over 500 likes while we're live on the air, please. It means the world to us if you can do it. If you're not a subscriber to this channel, please do. First ever YouTube channel to do digital fan cams. Remember that out there. We're going to do one more call here before we open up the full lines here. And let's jump straight into it. You go. Welcome back to the Football Terrace, mate. A disappointing result tonight. We've had a mixture of emotions on this show tonight. Some people kind of relaxed, some people really angry. How do you feel after that performance?
I feel like I've been let down on. I don't celebrate Christmas, but I feel like how a kid would feel on Christmas if they were looking forward to it, then they get a present and it's just like clothing, and they're looking for a toy or something, because we've been waiting 3 months for the Premier League to come back, and the first 2 games have been letdowns for me, because obviously one game is a draw and Arsenal lose to Man City. And I got to start off by saying, Arsenal fans who constantly make fun of Xhaka, get to know he's our best midfielder. And you've seen it today. The man went out and our midfield did not look like a midfield. It was, you could walk through there. It was not a midfield. There was no creativity. There was nothing coming from the midfield. We couldn't even hold on to the possession. So when you make fun of Ozil, when you make fun of Xhaka, you have to realize these managers have a reason why they play those players. And let me get to Arteta's decision making, because Arteta said before the match, there's a reason why David Luiz is not playing. I have seen things over the past couple of weeks during training that made me not want to start him. Then when he's subbing on, you can tell that he's not there. Like, everyone in my house said he's gonna get a red card, and I'm saying you're laughing. Stop trolling. But they had no reason to be trolling. If we were gambling people, we would have made money today, because everyone in my house said David Luiz getting a red card. I don't know why. It was in the air. And on top of that, when it comes to David Luiz, man. If 2020 was a defender, it would be David Luiz, because this guy, he's just calamity the whole time. He's given away 2 red cards off last-ditch tackles, double jeopardy both times, got sent off. He's definitely a Chelsea agent, but honestly, man, David Luiz just gets on my nerves. I can't talk about that man anymore. I'm gonna move on to Mustafi.
See, you know, yeah. So, okay, but I haven't even spoke to no one else about that tonight. The Pepe not playing, Aubameyang on the right, on the left, Saka on the right made no sense. Bringing David Luiz into this game when you know he's a clown doesn't make sense. Starting Mustafi doesn't make sense. I can't, and that's why I look at this and I think there's loads of individual problems here. But the person I put to blame for today's result, solely Arteta. He made so many mistakes in his selection. It's unbelievable.
You know what the worst thing is? It's a damning indictment when Socrates got injured, and we heard about it today before the game, that Holding doesn't even make the bench. Chambers is still injured, but Holding's coming back from ACL injury from when we faced you in Man United away last season, I think. That's when he got injured. But since then, it's been 3 managers, and he still hasn't gotten like a comfortable running of games since he's come back. So it's just going to show you it's an indictment on Holding. I don't want to hear about Eddie Nketiah being fouled and Mahrez diving. Guys, let's not be deluded here. Let's try to be sensible. They beat us. We had nothing. Leno, put respect on Leno's name, people. If it wasn't for Leno, I don't want to hear. You know what happens? Leno makes a mistake against Chelsea. People only laugh at him about that. But when you watch games like today, Terry, you see why Arsenal fans say Leno's one of the best goalkeepers in the league. Because arguably, he's our man of the match almost every single game. And it's an indictment to the team and the performances that we've had, that our goalkeeper is our best player this whole season. Yeah. Forget about Aubameyang.
No, he was brilliant tonight. Without him, you were getting you got beat and you got slapped anyway. Hang on 1 second. I want to read about Hawkeye. So look at this. So this is about Hawkeye's decision during Sheffield United. It says the 7 cameras located in the stand around the goals were significantly, I don't know what that says, simply occluded the dissident goalpost. Hawkeye unreservedly apologized for the Premier League, Sheffield United, and everyone affected by this incident. It was what? Blocked or whatever. Okay, maybe that was means. I don't even know. I've never even heard what that word means before. But basically, it wasn't working. Okay, wow, that's interesting. Well, do you know what I like about that though? They've come out and apologized. You know when referees make mistakes,
yeah,
they're silent on it.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? But Sheffield United will feel robbed now, won't they? Like, imagine if they miss out on a Champions League place by 2 points or a point.
Well, wasn't it his own player who basically pushed him into the goal?
Something like that. Yeah, I have to see it. But yeah. Listen, mate.
Getting back to the game, I'll say one more thing.
Your final thoughts, mate. Go on.
It goes to show you bought a £72 million attacking winger. You didn't bring him on. You bought an £8 million center back. You didn't bring him on. You bought Danny Ceballos. He came off the bench. All that money, you could have spent all that money on a Koulibaly, which totals 72 million, 8 million, another 10 million. That's over 100. That's over 100 million right there. If you would have calculated all that money, put it on Koulibaly, we wouldn't have these defensive issues. The club needs to stop being cheap and buy quality players and spend the money on quality players instead of buying 7 or 8 cheap options and one. I don't know what Pepe is right now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but mate, listen, I appreciate you coming on and having your say, mate. We'll chat to you again. Take care.
Respect.
Listen, everyone who's tuned in tonight, we really do appreciate your support. Arsenal fans, you can clearly see how upset and how angry and frustrated they are with their team's performance, and they should be. Arsenal fans should be upset. They should be frustrated because it was poor. It was very, very poor indeed. And Arteta's got to do something, and the club's got to do something, because there's a golfing class between them and Man City. Some of their best players not on the pitch, clowns still getting picked, players out of position. And maybe, just maybe, it was an experiment. Maybe come the weekend, Arsenal beat Brighton, all is good in the world again. But as far as I'm concerned, as far as I can see, there's a hell of a long way for Arsenal to go to get things turned around. There really, really is. But listen, until next time, everybody take care of yourselves. Everybody, God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.